So welcome to the Awa Show. My name is Douglas Lodmell.
And I'm Awa Lodmell.
And today we're shooting from in the air. We're currently at 14,000 feet, climbing to 200, which is 20,000 feet. And we thought it'd just be fun to do a show in the air. So we set up the cameras and we're doing it. So just to tell you where we are, we're in an airplane. This happens to be our hobby. We're not professional pilots, but we are hobby pilots, so we fly a lot around to this place and that place and whenever we can. It's a great hobby, and I learned to fly when I was younger, and then when I met you, I was nervous because all my friends, everybody I know who was a pilot, when they got married, they had to quit flying.
That's right.
Because their wife was afraid of flying.
Yep.
So I had actually been on a little break of flying for a couple of years before I met you. So I wasn't really flying, so we never talked about it. It never came up.
Nope.
And so we were married 3 or 4 years, and I all of a sudden wanted to fly again.
That's right.
And I said to you nervously, honey, I'm a pilot. And I kind of want to fly again. And you said.
And I said, oh my God. I always wanted to be a pilot. Let's go.
And I was just shocked. I was like, you what?
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to be a pilot. I'm like, oh my God.
We never talked about that.
Like, that's a bonus. What a bonus. And so, so I started flying again, and I kept training and continued to train. But I thought that's what we can talk about today, just kind of how that looks and feels to be supported in the thing that you love, because I really love flying. I mean, I really love it. It's really one of my greatest joys of life, is just having this thing, and when I felt your support for it, which I think would have been true even if you were afraid. In fact, you probably were afraid.
Oh, well, you know what? And I'm still afraid.
Yeah.
I mean, doesn't mean you don't have fear. We all have fear. And I remember when we started to fly, your mom was like, oh my God, I wish I had this courage, because now, looking back, that's all that my husband wanted, somebody who supports his flying. And that was a gift for me, to never miss this opportunity to be here for somebody, to support somebody. And by supporting them, you support your own self, because whatever fear I had to work on it.
Yeah.
So yes, you're going to sometimes fear so much, and yet the universe will put on your way somebody who will have to make you work on your fears. And this is one of them.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I think we all have fears. All of us. There's nobody who's fearless, right?
That's right.
I mean, we might have different fears. We do have different fears, and so you might look at somebody who has a fear that you don't have and go, "That's a weird fear. I don't understand why."
Right.
Some people have irrational fears to you. They're irrational. Fear of the water, or fear of stepping on manhole covers because they're going to fall in, or fear of just things that you wouldn't be afraid of, but for them it's very real. So
that's right.
Fear is real for everybody.
That's right.
And it manifests differently for all of us. And so,
but the chances for what you fear to really happen is 1 out of sometimes millions, and yet it's just stuck in your head.
Right. Well, I think the thing about flying that is kind of extra for a lot of people is that it is a 1 in a million type chance that you have a problem.
Yeah.
But when you do, all you can imagine is this catastrophic fireball, in the ground, right? You imagine,
all you can imagine.
Total destruction and death, right? Okay, well, if we mess up, we're all going to die.
Yeah.
And so, of course, that's real, but that's also real in a car.
Yeah.
And it's also real.
More real in the car.
Probably more real, yeah. I mean, and the thing that I love about flying is that, yes, it's a more serious thing than driving a car, because you can't just pull over if you have an engine problem or if you run out of gas. But you also train so much more for those contingencies.
That's right.
and you don't maintain a plane like you maintain a car. It's on a schedule. It's going in every 100 hours no matter what. It's getting a thorough work through that you really feel confident in your equipment because of how you're required to maintain it.
Yeah.
19 for 20.
1 to go.
So we're obviously going to be flying, and the control will probably talk to us, so, you know.
So, yeah, just to stretch what you were just saying, yeah. Fear we all have, fear we'll always have, but the chances of living what you fear is just 1 to million sometimes, and the chance of me missing out on this beautiful journey with my pilot husband is 1 to 1.
Well, and it's just been such a great journey for us.
Absolutely.
I mean, we started with a very little plane, and we just kind of kept, as my skill increased, as my confidence increased, as my budget increased, I was able to, you know, upgrade. We could go to a next bigger plane and a next bigger plane, and now we found one that really fits us just right. You know, there's a saying, there's no perfect plane, there's just a perfect hangar, and it has about 5 planes in it, because they all have different missions. So we had to decide what plane works for our mission, and this works for our mission.
Yeah, and this is just to encourage you to give a chance to what you fear the most, whatever that is. You know, like I said, the chances of you living your fears is sometimes 1 to 100, 1 to million, but the chances of you missing out on a beautiful experience in your life is 1 to 1, because it's either you're doing it or you're not. So take this opportunity. You know, we've been flying for the past 18 years. Really, thank God, nothing major, and it really had strengthened me and strengthened our relationship and expand our minds, and not let fear stop us.
Well, and one thing that I find helps, and we do this with our fears when they come up, is, okay, let's go ahead and imagine your worst case scenario. What happens? Right? And so for a man, for me, I should say, I can't speak for all men, but for me, you know, one of my biggest fears is what happens if I lose all our money. Right, that's just my fear, right? Because I feel responsible. I think it's most men. I honestly do. I don't think it's just me. I think that's a pretty common thing, because you know, and women too. I'm not. I mean, everybody. I think it's a human thing. Like, okay,
it's a human thing.
The fear is lose all your money. So one of the exercises that we do is we go through it and we say, okay, well, what happens if we did? What would happen?
What will happen if you lose my security blanket?
Right.
Whatever that is.
Right. Whatever it is. Right. You know. So it might be money. It might be your house. It might be a person that you rely on. Whatever.
Yeah.
So what would happen? And so we go through it and say, well, okay, well, we'd have to sell this plane. We'd have to sell the house. We'd have to sell everything. I'd have to get a different job, or I have to work. I mean, you start going through it, right? And you say, okay, if no one's dead, we're still together, we can start over. Right? And then I start thinking about, I actually have a lot of experience with people who have had to go through that. Because of my work, I've gotten the opportunity to see multiple people go through the highest high down to the lowest low, complete bankruptcy, wipeout, community shamed, you know, even prison. Like really, like they've gone to the worst, and I also saw them after, and I've seen them recover, and I'm like, wow, some of them are way ahead of where they were before they fell.
That's right.
It was amazing, because what they don't lose in all that is all that experience, all that knowledge, all that know-how, themselves. You can't take that from them.
That's right.
Even if they have to go to prison and be shamed in their community and lose all the status that they thought was so important to them, they were fine, right?
Absolutely.
So So it's the same. It's the same with any fear, right? Whatever.
If you don't let that define you.
If you don't let that define you, so whatever fear you have, look at it, and if it's stopping you from doing something beautiful, whatever it is, maybe look at it and see if you can't work through that and take the risk.
That's right.
And see if you can access that beautiful thing that's behind that fear.
That's right.
Because it is. It's always there. That beautiful thing is always there behind that fear.
It's so true.
It's so true.
Yeah. There is only beauty. There is only life. Period.
Yeah.
So behind our fears, there is life. And life is trusting, and life is beautiful, and life is you, waiting for you. You know? So,
yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
You know, let's be fearful, and yet it's not gonna stop us.
Right. Acknowledge the fear. Don't push it away. Of course, you if you push anything away, it gets stronger.
Yeah.
Right. So here, put up your hand. Push on me. Push on me. Push on me. I have to push stronger. We're both pushing stronger. Right. So now you push on me.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
That's right.
And then you can redirect the energy. So.
Yeah.
So that's that fear. When you push on the fear, I'm afraid I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. We have a family member who's deathly afraid of dogs. I mean, like freaks out if there's. And we have the littlest, tiniest little
dogs that can't do anything.
Our dogs are harmless. Like not even. But the fear is the fear is the fear, right?
That's right.
But to her credit, she overcame it. She worked on it.
I know.
She slowly introduced herself to the dogs. She slowly, but in the end, she ended up loving the dogs and opening up a new part of her own life.
Absolutely.
Because she was brave and bold and didn't let it stop her.
That's right.
So.
Yeah. Don't do anything crazy.
Right. Well,
but
be
safe. But do whatever heck you wanted to do. Afraid of doing, go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't let the fear stop you.
No.
And if it's taking a risk, starting a business or doing something that you feel like, oh my gosh, the consequences are big if I fail at this.
Yeah.
Just know that most successful people who started businesses failed a couple of times first. It's almost part
of the couple.
It's almost part of the required education for running a business.
Absolutely.
I mean, it is. It's so even that. Take the risk and count the failure as part of the lesson that you need.
Absolutely.
Albuquerque Center, Skywest 6227-290.
So.
Skywest 6227, Albuquerque Center, right there.
So, we did it.
We did it. Want to
right.
add anything else?
Just, life is here waiting for you. Do it. It's all yours. Don't be afraid. What's the worst that can happen? Just think about it. What's the worst that can happen to us? It happened already to maybe people and maybe that's why you fear them. But if we just remove the emotion that is attached to it, the pity, the guilt, the shaming, we're all fine.
Yeah.
The worst you can damage maybe is the body, but not your spirit.
Okay.
You are a child of God, if we could say that.
You are. Yes,
and
we can say that.
And you are fine. And anyway, nobody will leave here alive, but we definitely can live here so lively.
Right.
Not afraid of anything, bold, and living the life you want. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, well, I hope this was fun. It was fun for us. Please comment as always and like and subscribe to the channel. Share this, and if it's helpful, please let us know what else we can talk about. For us, it's just it's examining all these things from different angles. It's all one conversation. It all leads back to one understanding, which is that all things are working to perfection.
Yes.
And that you have nothing to fear in this life, and you can just trust this life. You live in a friendly universe. Trust it. Take the step, and God or the universe will take the 10 steps towards you every one step you take. So trust it, overcome the fear, do what it is that you're afraid of, and see what happens.
Right.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us on this In the Air episode of Always with Awareness, and we'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time. Maybe right here.
Yeah, maybe right here.